Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey, everybody, how we doing today? We doing good? Please forgive me, y'all. I'm a little tired today. Did a lot of running around. So I'm a little bit tired. Put this mic a little bit closer. All right, so thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships, Juan. If you were a recipient of one of the memberships, type Juan Guerrero in the chat and give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
Of course you do. Y'all gonna hear the background. That's just where I'm at now. Y'all gonna hear stuff in the background. There's nothing I can do about that. But I wanted to come talk today about the idea of Black women humbling their sons. Earlier today, I did a video, and that was actually one of the recurring comments underneath the original posting, that he needed to be humbled. Her son needed to be humbled. And that disturbed me, because I want to kind of explore, what does that mean? Is that's just a Black woman thing, that we gotta humble your son? Where do we get that from? What is that? And why do we feel the need to do that to our son? Or do that to young Black men when they're young? When they're school age, high school, anytime before they become men out on their own and in the world on their own. Why is that? I may actually make this members only later. Thank you, Steve, for your contribution. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Miss Lou Casely coming through. How you doing, Lou Casely? And she gifted 5 memberships. So if you were a recipient of one of the gift memberships, type Lou Casely in the chat and give her a round of applause. Thank you to all of the new members. I appreciate
But
all.
now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
So I want to share, before we get started too much, I want to share the definition of humble, because there's a such thing as humility, and then there is humiliation, and then there is humbleness. And I'm not saying that having a bit of humility doesn't have its place, because it's good to have a little bit of humility. It tempers out arrogance. It tempers arrogance. But in this particular case, it's a negative. So let's read the actual definition. I'm going to try to make it big so everybody can see. So humble, not proud or haughty, not arrogant or assertive, reflecting, expressing, or offered in a spirit of deference or submission, ranking low in a hierarchy or a scale, insignificant, unpretentious, not costly or luxurious. As a verb, to make someone humble in spirit or manner, to destroy the power, independence, or prestige of. Okay. So when Black women act as a humbler, one who is humbling someone else as a verb, then they are making someone humble, okay, here, not proud, haughty, arrogant, or assertive, in spirit or in manner, the breaking of the spirit. And they are also engaging in destroying the power, the independence, or the prestige of. So this is what we doing. This is what we encourage mothers to do, Black mothers to do to Black sons. And then you want to know where the strong Black men are. You complain about the men. You complain that the men are sassy. You complain that the men are not leaders. You complain that the men don't have good leadership. They're not assertive enough. They're too, wishy-washy. They bend too much. They don't stand on business. They don't stand on their own two. They're too able to be swayed one way or the other. So therefore, they don't have a good standing, a good backbone to be able to defy, right? Because men change things. Men push back on environments. Men push back on environments. That's a part of their nature, to oppose an environment that they are in if they find the need to do that, or to go against it somehow for their own betterment. So we are encouraging single mothers, or even if the father's around, if he's weak, we are encouraging the men as boys to, as we said, not have any power, not have any independence, and not have any prestige. Basically, he can't be running around here thinking too highly of himself. Okay? Because the other is to have a spirit of deference or submission, or to rank low in the hierarchy, to be insignificant and unpretentious. So we're telling our boys, you're low. Don't be running around here getting no ideas about being higher than you are. We're here to remind you that you ain't nobody. Because you're a boy now, but you'll be a man. And black men are nobodies. So since everybody knows that black men are nobodies, I need to help you make sure that you understand and ingrain within yourself that you're ultimately a nobody. Ultimately, you're a nobody. Ultimately, you don't have, as a black boy growing into black manhood, you don't have anything. You're don't nobody care nothing about you. You're not important. You're insignificant. You're at the bottom of the barrel. You're at the bottom of the hierarchies. And you need to understand that that's actually where you belong. That's where you belong. So we're encouraging that black women, while they are in a position of power over a black man, and there's no better time than when she is mothering him. That's her most influence over a man. Black women's most critical influence over a black man is when she's raising him. That is where she instills a value system. She instills things like his self-worth, his self-esteem. Okay? In his formative years, that's her most critical influence over him when she's raising him. That's when her word is gold to him. Before he know any better, mama's word is like the word of God. Until he figures it out. So we're also going into, we've got to defang a black man before he turns into a lion. If he's going to be a lion, we got to defang him. Got to defang him. We got to make sure that he understands that he is not a man. And he is not to carry himself as if he is a complete man. He's an incomplete man, and he's going to always be an incomplete man. That's what we're saying. Gotta defang him. You gotta emasculate him. You have to damper his masculinity by ridiculing things like his assertiveness. Because when we go back to the definition, it says not proud or haughty, not arrogant or assertive. So we've got to dampen his assertiveness. Now, why do we dampen his assertiveness? Because if you are a single mother or you're a matriarchal mother, you don't want your son bucking up at you. You don't want him doing that, because any assertion of his masculinity as he grow into it is assumed to be disrespect to her. So a black boy growing into a man that starts getting into his assertive nature, that is an affront to her. She characterizes it as he's disrespecting me as his mom because he is talking to me, quote unquote, crazy. He raising his voice at me. And he basically, I don't have authority over him. As boys get older, the mother loses authority. He's only obedient to his mother out of respect, not out of fear. So at some point, usually in a boy's adolescence, the mothers lose authority over him. And when you're dealing with a matriarchal female, she doesn't like that. She doesn't like that. She got to have authority, whether it usually by fear of or something. And one of the best ways to try to maintain this authority is to ridicule him for having it by telling him that his assertiveness is disrespectful. Now, the danger of all of that is that all of his masculinity is affected, not just the part you're trying to tamp down. All of his masculinity, because all facets of his masculinity are intertwined. So assertion accompanies authority. Males become assertive because they have a natural authority that is attached to masculinity. So as he grows into masculinity, he's supposed to become assertive because that comes with his natural authority. Because if he doesn't have assertiveness to accompany his natural authority, then how does he learn to apply his authoritative nature? How does he learn how to apply it? Because his assertion is not negative. He just has to learn how to do it. What's an effective way versus a non-effective way? And the only way that he can learn that is from who? Who the only people he can learn that from? Who are the only people that a boy growing into a man can learn how and when to apply his authority and to be assertive about it? Thank you. Only other men. Only other men. Only other men. Because women do not understand that. Because we do not have natural authority. Femininity is not authoritative. Authority and power must be granted to the feminine by the masculine. And you can only give what you have. You can't give what you don't have. So if authority and power can only be granted to the feminine by the masculine, that means the masculine naturally has it and the feminine naturally does not. And so it's borrowed. The only time women have natural authority is over her small children. She has a natural authority over them. Okay? Once our children reach a certain age, we lose that authority over them because the boys supersede us in authority. We lose authority over boys. And as they keep getting older, the role switches and they have authority over us, even the son over the mom, because the son can actually start telling the mama what to do. As for our girls, we also lose authority over them. They become our peers to a certain degree. They just become other women. So this brings us to one of the bigger problems. This actually brings us to one of the bigger problems because what do we lack in the Black community? Family structure. Hamp is just talking about this today on his channel. What are the issues of Black men? And one of the main overarching contributing factors as to why Black men don't do as well socioeconomically as other groups of men is the lack of the father in the home primarily. Other groups primarily have their fathers in the home. Black people don't. So this is where the talking about the single motherhood rates come in at. This isn't just about shaming women about their sexual practices. This is about not seeking out and not attempting to maintain strong family structures. The raising of children within the single mother dynamic is a detriment to both the boys and the girls. All the children are at a disadvantage. The boys are at a disadvantage because they do not have a ready source of masculinity and manhood to teach them the effective ways to apply their masculinity and their manhood in their life. Don't have a good bead on what leadership should be and what it should look like and how they should apply it. And the girls are also at a disadvantage because they don't have any man around, primarily their fathers, to learn system or instruction and how they should behave in a system, in a man's SOS. They can't watch their mothers do it with their fathers. Their fathers are not there to enact this on them. So they grow up with the mother's ideology about not needing a man and therefore not understanding what men do or why they should have men around or what makes men important. They don't know. Film, that is the name of the channel. This Might Be Risky is the name of his YT channel. And you can go ahead and share his channel. If you aren't subscribed to Ham's channel, go over there and subscribe to it. Oh, no problem, sweetheart. But I know sometimes that could be like, well, wait a minute, because that's what he named his channel. So it's okay. And how you doing? It's been a minute. Hopefully everything is going good with you, sweetie. So we're having an issue in our community because the community is broken. And the reason that the community is broken is because the family structure is broken. The reason why the family structure is broken is because we have a bad value system. We can't correct the bad value system because in order to correct the bad value system, we actually have to start focusing on families. Because if we start focusing on families, we can actually become a community. Once we become a community, we can affect our culture and our value system the opposite way. This is why it's so important for us to talk about interpersonal relationships between Black men and Black women. Not to be sensational, but to get down to the root of the issues, because we're not getting along well enough to create the family. And not only are we not getting along well enough to create the family, we've got it in our heads that we don't need to create the family. That is not an important step for us to do as a group of people. And then we wonder, why are other groups of people making it? Because they've got a different value system than we do. Why? We are operating on the lost value system. See, I'm not just saying value system it's not a talking point. And I wish we really understood that. This isn't just something to say and it's got a cute chart to it and that's what it is. If we actually understood what a value system does and how it actually affects us in real time, we could solve this issue in a generation or two. We actually could. It's not impossible. These are the 10 areas of activity of life. If we understood that we see this in a backwards way and other cultures see it this way, that's why they can get ahead. Faults and flaws and all. It doesn't mean that the other cultures don't have faults and it's not flawed and that they don't have their own issues. But they can overcome their issues more often than not because they have this value system. They're operating on the premise that some type of spirituality, some type of health, some type of family structure, their appearance value, what's going on in their homes, their mobility, their education, and all of these things go from order of importance to them. We go in order of importance the opposite way. See, we think that the other groups of people have money because they chase money first. No, they're not focused on getting the bag. The bag is coming because they're focused on all 9 things first. That's why they're able to have wealth that they can transfer generationally. They're not going after the bag. They're going after the internal values first because they know if they do that, the external values come a little bit easier. They can actually maneuver externally better once the internal values are intact. We think the opposite way. We think that we have to trample on the internal values in order to get the bag first, and then we'll revisit this. No, we're backwards. And that's why we can't make it. We're not less intelligent. We're not less intelligent, we lost. We're not stupid, we're lost. Now, the only thing that could make us stupid is knowing that we lost and not trying to find ourselves. That would make us stupid. Okay. But before we go on, you know what? Let me go on a break first because I really want to drill down on this. So after these messages, we'll be right back because that time is upon us. It is now summer. It is now officially sundress season. It is now officially fitted cap and tank top season. Okay. It is officially have your toe out season. And all of them body parts got to be moisturized. All right. We look so much better. The melanin pops so much better when we moisturized. So what I need you all to do is go to ashkicking.com. The link is at the top of the chat and get you some of the best personal care products on the market, period, including this body butter, a wonderful moisturizer, not too thick, not too heavy, especially for the summertime. And I'm saying that as a person who uses it because in the summertime, I usually switch from butters to lotion because butters are heavy and lotion is a little bit lighter. I haven't had to do that this summer, and it's been warm, right? The beginning of the summer is actually warm. So I haven't had to switch off into lotion. So you can definitely still get this body butter, absorbs very quickly. The smell is wonderful, keeps your skin moisturized all day without a thick, heavy coating on your skin. And if this is going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. I don't know how many likes I need, but I owe y'all a bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button, bam, bam. You gotta Let me get to some super chats here. Landon said the first white supremacy a black man experiences is usually his own mother. George Subira. Thank you, JS. It's a big mama mammy plantation mindset. Black men and boys must remain subservient. Thank you, Wiggy Wheel. So this humbling is an old form of buck breaking, illustrates their psychological allegiance to white supremacy, deep down wanting to please it. Similar to mammies getting the bucks in line on the plantation. Thank you, Michael. Said Jezebel at the finest. Thank you again, JS, at Slave Owner Energy. Thank you, Black Goku. So, and they wonder why these boys grow to resent black women and they date women of other races because they grow up dealing with the BS from their mothers. Thank you, Bakish, for your super sticker. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you so much, Willie C, for becoming a member. I appreciate you.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
Thank you, Damien. Said you just made me go through my entire childhood. You never disappoint. Thank you, Juan. Said thank the Most High for your truth and insight. And thank you, sis. Beshua said the community is broken because there are more hyenas than lionesses. Hyenas bring about chaos and a lack of proper structure. Okay. So these are not just charts just to say, oh, it's a chart and then not pay attention to what we actually talking about. Because when I talk about value systems, I'm talking about how it affects us in real time on the ground in our day-to-day lives. That's what I'm talking about. It's not just something on YouTube and then we just say that here on the channel and then it don't mean nothing. No. If we actually understood the depth and the meaning of all of that, if we really understood it, it would create a change in our personal lives and widespread. And I know I'm going off topic just a little bit because I'm talking about the humbling of black men, but we got to drill down into the value system because it's cultural that concept that we have to belittle black men is embedded in the culture. It's embedded in the culture because we have a backwards value system. The things that we value, the perspective that we come from generally as American black people, is completely backwards. Other groups of people don't do this. See, we think that in order to get ourselves together as a group of people, that we got to focus on education, profession, and wealth. That our main focus has to be on education, profession, and wealth. And that if we acquire these things first, then we can double back and help ourselves spiritually, or help our mobility, or help our families, or help our health. That's not so. Other groups operate the other way. They actually know that if they deal with the internal values first, the 5 external values come easier to them. The work, it come easier to them. See, we just see the outside. Like, for instance, we'll say Asians and white people take their education more seriously. And because they have a better education, that leads them to have a better job or a better career path. And because they have a better education and leads them to a better career path, that leads them to the wealth. And that's why they are ahead of us. No. See, because the part that nobody likes to talk about is the Asian family. Let's take the Asian family, the general Asian family. Let's take the Koreans that run the cleaners or that run the beauty supply stores. You understand? Or the Chinese that run the restaurants, things of that nature. Those parents are putting in an untold amount of time in those businesses and in those jobs. They're not working 8 hours. They're working 12, 14. The mother and the father. Okay, both. Which I don't know why Black women think these other demographics of women are not busting their butts, because they are. So both parents are working untold amount of hours. They're going to amass money, but that's not really the driving force of how they get the money. Because what they're teaching their children, the reason why they are able to have generational wealth, is because they focus on their spirituality. They focus on their health. You don't see a whole lot of fat, out of shape. You understand? You don't find that there are a whole bunch of them on antidepressants, things of that nature. They're taking care of themselves mentally and physically. They are focused on their families. They are focused on the parents do a certain job. The children do a certain job. Now, they take education all that seriously. They take all that stuff seriously, but they know they don't skip steps. We skip steps. They don't skip steps. That family gonna be together. You're gonna be together. I don't care if you don't like it. You're gonna be together. That dwelling, that household is going to function properly. There will be discipline in it. There will be order there. Not gonna run amok here. The reason why they do better in education is because even if they send their children to school, that's not the bulk of their education. What you mean by that, Crimson? See, they don't just leave education up to the school. Even if they're going to a good school, they don't leave the education up to the school. Asian children have school after school. When they get home, you're not going to sit on that PS5 all day. I promise you, you're not going to do that. You got a set amount of hours that you're going to sit there and study. And we're going to go over different concepts and make sure that you're ahead of your class. We're not going to leave you right at level. We're going to put you above the level. Because your father is running the cleaners right now, but he got an engineering degree. You understand? Your mama might have one. And we're going to go over these other concepts. It doesn't matter that we both worked 12 and 13 hours today. All of us are tired, but we're going to be tired together. Because you went to school, and before we got home, that was all of your little leisure time that you was going to do. By the time we get home, I need them books out. We're going to go over what they went over in school, and then we're going to surpass it. Because you're not just going to graduate at level. You're going to graduate beyond the level. We're going to make sure that you do it. They over-prepared. They're not more intelligent than us. They're over-prepared. They make sure, they sacrifice. The reason why I'm saying that they have a better value system. Where's leisure? Leisure's number 9, isn't it? See, they actually value the education over the leisure. We value the leisure over the education. They value this stuff in the order in which it must be valued in order to have success. So they value the education over the leisure. I know you want to play games. I know you want to go to sleep. I know you want to chill. But we done drug in after X amount of hours. And we dead tired. But we gonna sit and make sure you understand this lesson. So we gonna have the discipline to add about 3 more hours on to the day. While Black women are talking about doing an 8-hour day at a desk and coming home and not able to wash a dish, the Korean woman spent 12 hours in a hot cleaners pressing clothes and came home and sat for 3 hours with her child after the dinner and made sure that the education of the school wasn't the only education they received. They went to bed late and they wake up early. And so do the children. Children do the same. It's rigorous. When you ask Asian children that grew up in traditionally Asian homes with a traditional culture, they'll tell you how rigorous it was. They complain about it. You know, like we had tiger moms. They was on our butt all the time. We couldn't really do nothing. Wasn't hardly no leisure time. We couldn't chill. We always had to study. We always had to go into the extracurricular activities. We always had to, practice our violin, and then we always had something to do that we may not have wanted to do. And mom and dad made sure that we had to do it. I didn't want to come work no hours after I got to a certain age and I got to come in the cleaners and work with them. I don't want to do that. They'll tell you about it. But he also graduated at the head of his class. While he's complaining about the rigorousness of his upbringing, he's also graduating ahead of the class. He's also going to be one of the top engineers at one of the top companies in the United States. He's also going to do that. He also invented 3 things and has a pending patent on all 3 of them. He's going to be a millionaire. after he complains about that stuff. Because once he get grown, he don't have to enact that. Once he actually set his feet on the career path and his parents are like, we did our work. See, we value, and that, see, because they valued it the right way, they're going to have generational wealth. The wealth is last. They'll take a family vacation. The leisure is next to last. It's next to last. Leisure is what it's for. Rejuvenate themselves. They might go back to their home country, you know, get their feet in the soil, so to speak, you know, revitalize, visit their family, visit their extended family. You know, grandma and grandpa is back on mainland China. We went back over there. We went back to South Korea because grandma and grandpa is over there. And we had our kids to visit them so they know they extended family. We make sure they can still speak Korean. We make sure they can still speak Japanese. We make sure they can still speak Mandarin. Because they teach English over there. So English is sometimes they native. You understand what I'm saying? Or it's right, learned right along with their native tongue. It's not that they're necessarily smarter than us. They're better prepared. And they're better prepared consistently because they consistently abide by the actual value system here. They actually live by it. That's how they come up with consistent results across the board. And we're coming up with the consistent results we're coming up with because we adhere to this. We think, well, we got to get the bag first, and then I can come back and help my family with the wealth that I got. But you can't. We the only people, I want y'all to understand that we're the only people that value getting the bag without financial literacy. Do you understand that? Do you understand that we're the only group of people that I know of that place the utmost value of getting money without any financial literacy about money? We want money and we don't understand it. We want money so bad and we have zero concept of what currency is, and we don't have no financial literacy. None. Tell me that ain't hustling backwards. Tell me that ain't hustling backwards. We talk about generational wealth without any concept of what to do with money when you get it. You know, we that's why so many of our entertainers make the money, and then so many years later, after they done with their entertainment career, they be flat broke because they don't have financial literacy. They don't even know nothing what you supposed to do with no money. And they don't bother to learn from the time period that they making the money. They don't stop and say, I probably should figure out how to keep this money, because I can only play football. I can only play basketball. I can only sing or dance for so long. What happens if I can't do that anymore? I don't want to be broke again. I don't want to come back to the hood. I don't want to do that. We the only people want the bag and have zero idea what to do with it once we get it. That's why we can't get it. It ever occur to anybody that the reason why a lot of us can't get the bag is because we don't even know what the bag consists of, and we have no idea what it does, and so therefore we don't know how to acquire it? Anybody ever thought about that? I mean, just take a minute to think about that. How many of us have financial literacy? We don't even like listening to the people that actually do, Black people that actually do have financial literacy, because when they have financial literacy and they understand and flip the value system, we say that they're phony because they flipped up on the culture. We too tied into that. Let's really talk about it. Let's really talk about it. When we actually do figure it out and flip the value system, the rest of us will clown that individual and say, "Oh, you forgot where you came from." No, I didn't. Ain't nobody forgot. I just ain't trying to go back. I don't want, it's not the people, it's not being Black that I don't like. It's the bad value system. Why do I have to engage with that? I don't want to engage with that. I can engage with my people without engaging in the bad value system. I don't want to do that. And we think that you lose your Blackness when you do that, or who they think they are. Who they think they are. They must think they somebody. Again, we circle back to humbling each other. I not too much on thinking you somebody now. Because in order to maintain your Blackness, you got to be humble and think that you aren't very much, that you're not quite significant. See, you think you significant. Significance belongs to to non-Black people. Significance belongs to white people and Asian. But other people, they can think highly of themselves, not you. See, we like to degrade it. Oh, you just bragging and you just think you better than everybody because you got a few dollars. What make you better because you got a few dollars? Then we want to flip the script about what makes you valuable. Money ain't all of that make you valuable. But you didn't like me when I was broke and I was still the same person on the inside. I wasn't nobody then. We don't like it when one of us out the family actually figure it out. We think we just supposed to grab the rest of the family and put them on our backs instead of that person that figuring it out saying, "I'm not going to just grab you and put you on my back, but I am going to teach you what I learned so that I don't have to put you on my back. You can do, it's not that difficult. You actually can do this stuff." We don't like that. We don't like that. Goes back to Black women culturally practicing the routine degradation and emasculation of Black men by assigning arbitrary value to him. We're circling back to arbitrary value, the value we put on each other, particularly since since we're keeping with the topic. Black women, when we're talking about them having to humble their sons, they culturally practice the routine. It's a routine of degrading and emasculating Black men. And one of the ways that they do that is by assigning an arbitrary value to him that has nothing to do with what makes men valuable. Like the video I did earlier about the mother saying that her son was not valuable unless he had money. So his value had nothing to do with who he was as a person. That wasn't valuable. But whether or not he had some money in his pocket is what would have made him valuable. And the reason that they position it that way, that the women are able to assign Black men their value as men, is so that they can move the goalposts at will. And we actually see that happening, because at one point the goalpost to value was Black men needed to not be selling drugs and committing crimes to make money. They need to go and make money legitimately. And then once Black men did that, we said, well, you don't make enough money, so you're not valuable because you're making the average money. So you have to make six figures. And when Black men said, well, no, I do make six figures, 120,000, 100,000. We said, no, that's not good enough. You have to make a mid to high six figures in order to be high value, because those low six figures is not enough money and you're not valuable. And see, it changed every week. It changed every week. Assigning value to Black men that don't have nothing to do with men. Only men can assign their value to themselves. Men assign value to each other. The same thing that made men valuable 1,000 years ago is the same thing that make him valuable today. That actually has not changed. His level of productivity makes him valuable. And that does not only include money that he can give to you. There are other things that make men valuable. But the men have to assign those values. Women don't do that. We just have expectations of men's masculinity, but we don't assign the value to them. It's not about women being low. I want women to be women. Women think it's low. Women think, and this is generally speaking, women think that being in the hierarchy underneath men makes them low. Women think that. That's a woman problem. That's actually not a man problem. That's a woman problem. Women think being the co-captain that helped fly the plane is a low position because she's not the captain. And feminism helped women to think that. Feminism helped women think that. That womanhood and the position of womanhood is actually it's a slave position. It's a nothing position. It's a low position. It doesn't have any value. It doesn't have any worth. If you're not number one, you're nothing. If you're not number one, you're nothing. It's women that don't like being number two. we find some type of problem with that. But then if somebody tell us to be number one, then we don't like that either because of the responsibility and the accountability that comes with number one. You really shouldn't want to be number one. Number one got too much accountability attached to it. Too much responsibility attached to it. It's women that don't like being the co-captain. It's women that don't like. You understand? Women don't like that the number two headband. Thank you, Mr. Akon. Women don't like the number two headband. Number two headband is just fine. That come with enough responsibility. Because number two come with responsibility and accountability, just not like number one. Do we understand that? That true womanhood, true being a lioness, that is not without its responsibility and accountability. That is not without it. We don't actually get to kick up our toe. We don't actually get to do that. Every day I've been a wife, I've worked. And I'm not just talking about a job and a paycheck. And my work is valuable. You understand me? My work is valuable. It's valuable and it's necessary. And I have responsibilities that are attached to my position. And I have an accountability for that position. It's women that's got a problem with the help meet position. Nobody else thinks it's low except women. We got our own thing. On one hand, y'all will cry about all the stuff that women have to do, and being a woman is it's either tough being a woman or it ain't. Stop running around here trying to fill the number one spot. Don't nobody need that number one spot. Let me have that spot. I tell my husband every day how much I appreciate him. But I tell him, along with that, I appreciate you and love everything you do. I do not envy your position at all. I don't envy your position. And the fact that he recognizes that my position also comes with responsibility and accountability, he's actually told me the same. He don't envy my position as a wife. Because in some ways there's an ease to it, and in some ways it's not. Heavy is the head that wear the crown. I don't need it. I can deal with my little tiara. I don't need no full-blown crown. I promise you I don't need that. I can do with my little tiara, just sit real cute right at the front. It don't hardly weigh nothing. It's real, you know what I'm saying? It's real dainty right in the little front there. I forget it's there. That's how light it is. I forget the little tiara. It's cute. When the light hit it and everything, it sparkles a little bit. I'll be like, oh, but I don't want that crown. What I want with it? Want that crown? What I want that crown? Thank you so much, UNC. So just here to support your message. Respect to you and your assistance to society. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you so much, Jay Spence. I remember visiting my friend on campus, and the Asian parents were there doing their children's laundry over the weekend so their children could focus on studying. Thank you so very much. So very much. So anyway, I may put this on members only. So if you're not a Crimson Knight, you might as well go ahead and hit that link. Somebody put the membership link in the chat for me, because this is going on membership if you want to hit the playback, because we got some gems and some jewels in here, right? So jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, Sister Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.